Greetings, lovely people, and welcome to another reaction video, this one being a little weird. So we are going to be looking at the first official teaser for the new Harry Potter series, and there are a lot of issues with this. I just want to quickly take a few moments just to kind of give my stance and everything. So first off, I don't actually plan on watching the full series, but I am interested in seeing what exactly this is going to look like. I did grow up on Harry Potter. It is something that was a pretty core part of my childhood, and, you know, despite the writer, I quite enjoy it. I have kind of distanced myself from it in more recent years, but as many of you already know, I identify as non-binary, so I am in the transgender sort of spectrum, I suppose you would call it. And as you would probably guess, I am not the biggest fan of J.K. Rowling. She has made some extremely bigoted stances, including being very heavily transphobic, amongst other issues that she does in fact display. And in general, I don't think it is worth actually supporting any of the products that she makes. And I have definitely still, bought the odd Lego set or played Hogwarts Legacy when that came out. So I'm not immune to, the draw of the franchise. I do, enjoy, as I say, the actual stories, as depicted, especially in the films. I don't want to suggest that it is wrong entirely for you to decide that you do want to watch this, especially if you already have a HBO Max subscription. But yeah, morally, I'm very much in the camp of this isn't something that should be supported, but also I'm not going to, gatekeep what should and shouldn't be consumed by, your everyday consumer and stuff like that. So with that all out of the way, let's check it out and see what the Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone teaser shows us. Okay, so here we have Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone official teaser, HBO Max, and it is interesting the fact that they seemingly are going to be doing, like, a season per book, potentially, at least based on the titling here. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but it could work for this sort of storytelling, and it is, unlike something like Game of Thrones, something that's already completed, so it does make a lot of sense to kind of format it in line with the books. But, yeah, let's see what exactly we've got here, and of course we'll go through it afterwards and maybe break down a few things, maybe just point out a few odds and ends. Okay.
I told you.
That just sounded like Radcliffe.
Boy.
For some reason, I don't think that was supposed to be
And
Harry.
you're going to start acting like one.
Okay, that's our new Harry.
You think you're something special?
It's so weird, like,
There is nothing special.
the new Harry looks like Harry Potter, like, he
About
resembles
you.
what you would imagine based on the books and stuff, but yeah, it's very
I've always
odd
wanted to
so
know about
far.
my parents.
Okay.
Your
This looks very
parents were
drab.
the kindest, bravest people I ever met.
Oh boy,
They were
Hagrid,
funny,
played by
and
Nick Frost.
clever.
I like Nick Frost. I'm
They
really
stood up for what they believed was right.
it's bad that he
The
is
next time I
involved
see you,
in a
will
J.K.
be in
Rowling production,
Hogwarts.
but yeah, it's just a modernized version of Harry Potter, which makes sense, I suppose. I say modernized in a very loose sense, like it just looks like outside
Mr.
world, the
Potter.
Muggle world is a bit more
I think we
modern.
can expect great things from you.
Interesting. I'm not going to try and guess who is playing who of the obvious ones.
Let's see who you are.
Yeah, generally it looks like an HBO series. It's very muted colours. Like, I don't know, there's something not very exciting
really Harry
about
Potter?
it. Oh wow. Okay. Okay. Oh, they've actually got Ron and Hermione who look quite correct. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Right. I don't think there's going to be really too much to break down there, because as I say, I'm not going to really try and guess at any of the characters other than the ones that I can just recognize from the look, like Hagrid or whatever. But yeah, we'll just take it through, and I'll just kind of talk, and I'll pause at any point that I think is worth pausing at. So yeah, it's interesting. The Dursleys don't really look how they're described, and it's like, to be fair, like, I have read some of the books. The first three, I've read, so I kind of know the descriptions of a lot of the earlier characters, especially. It's so weird it being like such a modern looking school and everything. Like the normal world, the Muggle world, the real world, whatever, looking so like this. It's this might be the 90s still, but it just looks so modern. I don't know if it's just but Aunt Petunia, yeah, is not looking how I envision her, really. Yeah, I'm not loving the aesthetic choices here, but yeah, I think that is just a symptom of being a HBO series. I was under the impression, I don't know where I got this from. It might be just because obviously Lord of the Rings has had their stuff on Prime. I was under the impression this was going to be a Prime series for the longest time. Which actually excited me to some extent, because it meant that we were going to be getting good visuals, because Prime does have a nice visual style to the productions that it does. HBO is always a bit muted, and that's kind of the case with like everything. Even looking at like the DC stuff of recent on HBO, it's like all of it is a little too dull. Peacemaker being probably the main exception to that. There's a lot of location film which I do appreciate. Like everything, like I've been here, and either this is a really good model, or they were actually filming on location. It's hard to say, but like I don't know. There's something about this that just, there's a lot of whimsy lacking. I don't know. Maybe it's that it's on digital, because the original films, if I remember correctly, are on film, I believe. So it may be just that this is too clean. Like it's lacking that film grain, that like grittiness. I don't know, like the colours seem a bit muted, and it just feels a little too soap opera-y. I don't know if that's even the right way to describe it. Sitcom-y maybe is probably better. I'm not loving it by any means. Hedwig looks like a decent effect there. I don't know if it's supposed to be a real, as in it is a real owl, or whether it is just a visual effect, but I'm leaning on visual effect in general. The beloved books of J.K. Rowling. Oh boy. This is the thing that irks me, and I'm sure it's probably contractual. I'm sure it's part of like the licensing that they have to advertise stuff as being, by J.K. Rowling, but it's just, she is such a poisonous entity within media. Sorting Out looks interesting. This is technically a little bit more accurate to the books, in all fairness. I much prefer the way they did it in the original films, which it's to each their own. It being black is a little odd to me. I do prefer the brown, but yeah, looks fine. I wonder how they're going to do the animations on it, and whether it's going to be animatronic, whether it's going to just be pure CGI. Because obviously in the original it does a little bit of both. So yeah, it would be interesting to see that in action. It's like, it's just brown. Like everything is just, there's no, even like there's blue in the background, there's red on their outfits, and there's no pop. Like, and their cloaks, like, because of the color grading, their cloaks look green. All of their cloaks look green. Like, it's so poorly, like, the color grading is just not good. It's so bland. It feels lifeless. Like, I wasn't even expecting to criticize these elements of it, but it all looks so dull. So this is, oh boy. I I'm gonna really struggle with names, aren't I? This is the guy who sells the wands. Why can't I think what his name is? That's gonna bug me. Okay, doesn't really matter. Yeah, the wand looks like the wand. A lot of this stuff is as you'd expect. I believe Warwick Davis, is that right? Is returning as Flitwick, and I think that's like the only returning cast member. I looked at the cast like last week or something, just because I was trying to double check something with I can't remember what character it was. It doesn't matter. But I was checking and I saw that that Professor Flitwick is still played by Warwick Davis. I really hope that I'm saying his name right. It feels wrong when I'm saying it. It's because I'm just in my head. I'm just thinking Wiki E Warwick. Like I'm just thinking of the Ewok name. And yeah, that's just stupid. But yeah, once again, the green isn't really popping. This is presumably Malfoy. Yeah, they just. I don't know. There's something about this new cast that just feels a bit generic. I don't know. I suppose you could say a lot of the same. It's because I grew up with the original cast. I know their faces. I recognize them as being like the characters that they are and stuff. I don't know. This will probably be something that like the zeitgeist will change. But yeah, got the numbers 2000. Got Quidditch. Once again, though, the yellows and the reds, they're just... Why is that mustard and why is this burgundy? Like, where's the vibrancy, you know? Like, say what you will about the original movies, but, like, their colours popped. It was really nice to look at, all of it. This is just... I really didn't expect to be complaining so much about the colour grading, but I kind of have to. Is this Neville? Yeah, it's not great. We've got Hagrid there. I wonder how they're doing the effect for Hagrid. Whether they're going to do a lot of the same stuff with the originals, where they have like models of his face and stuff for when he needs to just be like in the background, gigantic. Is that Snape? Is this Snape? I think this is Snape. I don't have an issue with anything here. I'm just like. It's odd. A lot of people, because I have seen a few discussions around this. No, I haven't seen any real screenshots say I looked at the cast prior, which is why I believe this is Snape. But there have been some discussions that this is like really book accurate, except like a few characters are not as described. And I think Snape is probably one of those, if I was to get, based on this, because Snape is described as like withered. Like, I don't know. Then again, Hermione is famously described as like being pale, like so. I don't know, I don't know. Like I'm not someone who gets too much into that sort of thing. Is this Dumbledore? It's a weird hat. I remember seeing the actor that was playing Dumbledore like in the cast list and thinking that wasn't going to work. But if this is Dumbledore, this is Dumbledore. He looks the part. I cannot remember the name of the actor, if it is in fact who I'm thinking it is. But yeah, no, he looks right. Called tuning fork. Yeah, I can't fault the casting. The casting does seem good. It annoys me more just the fact that there are legitimately actors in here who I respect, that I think should know better than to work on a J.K. Rowling production. You know what I mean? Like, people that I truly believe are, you know, not bigots themselves and are pro-trans and stuff like this, that are working on this production. There was a recent, I can't remember the actor, it doesn't really matter, one of the actors from the original film recently stated something to the effect of, when they found out that J.K. Rowling was bigoted, was transphobic, they almost quit Harry Potter. And that's the thing, it's the almost. That is worse, because that is recognizing that what she believes and what she says online and stuff like this is bad, and yet still deciding to fund her and support her and this, that, and the other. And I don't know. I don't necessarily want to make this into like a political statement or anything like that. I don't know. This is a very interesting production to just look at from the outside in, especially as someone, as I said at the start, I'm not planning on watching this. I do not have HBO Max. I don't plan on getting HBO Max on Now TV. I think in the UK it needs to be. Just to watch this especially. I'll probably end up getting Now TV or HBO for a bit to watch Lanterns from DC. But I doubt even then I'll end up actually watching the Harry Potter series. And that is what I'm going to leave it with. So, yeah, there is a lot going on here. I like the cast in general. I think the casting choices, for the most part, other than the Dursleys, weirdly, the Dursleys do not look like the Dursleys. You know, like, they don't look how they're described in the books. They don't really look, obviously they don't look anything like they did in the original films. But otherwise, everyone seems fine. Snape, like, from that clip that we saw, if that is in fact Snape, looks fine. It is a little bit of a departure from, how he's described, but honestly, it doesn't really make a difference. Like, it's more about the characterization for him. Like, as long as it's performed quote-unquote correctly, it doesn't really matter what he looks like at all. Same with, like having characters like Hermione not be, as described in the book, where she's described as pale. Like, that doesn't matter. It doesn't really make a difference as long as she is still characterized the way she is, which is kind of a know-it-all, kind of arrogant, but also, like, truly down to a core kind and stuff. Like, as long as the characterization is good, it doesn't really matter about those sorts of changes. But, yeah, it's looking interesting. It's looking very, very interesting, and I'm sure I'll keep up to date with, the reviews when they come out and stuff like that, just to hear what the common consensus is on it. But yeah, there we go. That is the HBO original Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. So with that being said, that's going to be it for this video. So I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like it, subscribe and enter, and ring the bell so you never miss an episode of us couple of your thoughts and feelings on this show, Harry Potter in general, even J.K. Rowling in general. I'm more than happy to have some civil discussion around that kind of thing in the comments below. But yeah, other than that, it's going to be it from me, and I'll see you next time. Bye!
It's been a long week. I feel like I could use a vacation. I can hardly think. It's like the worst song you've